On the verge of another series-clinching win, the D-backs face the New York Mets once again after taking the first two games of this series. Tonight, it's left-handers Patrick Corbin starting for the D-backs against New York's Steven Matz. Spend your Saturday night with the first-place D-backs on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly along the way. D-backs looking to make it 3 in a row against the Mets and continue this outstanding month. They are 11-3 in June. And Bob, Goldie's turnaround has been a big part of that.
Yeah, it's probably not too fair to put it all on Goldie, but when Goldie got hot, the team got hot. Every player, every team is going to go through peaks and valleys over the course of the season, but boy, is he at the top of the mountain right now.
Well, hit about 200 his first 50 games or so. He's over 400 in his last 20.
And putting together one good at bat after another, and it's just filtered above him and below him in the lineup to every hitter.
So while Goldie had a slow start and has picked it up lately offensively, it's been the reverse for Patrick Corbin, who was 4-0 in his first 6 starts this year. But since then, his ERA has nearly doubled.
And it's probably the fact that his slider hasn't been nearly as consistent as it was through his first 6 starts of the season when he was absolutely devastating with that pitch.
Two lefties, Corbin for the D-backs and Matz for the Mets on a Saturday night at Chase Field. It's D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona.
D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money.
You buy Jack in the Box. This season, D-backs home runs score free jumbo jacks only at Jack in the Box. And by Gila River Hotels and Casinos. The card by Gila River Casinos earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the card today. Well, the Dodgers are beating the Giants right now 3-1. They're in the 6th in LA. Here it's Patrick Corbin for your first place D-backs up against the Mets. Next on Fox Sports Arizona. Night in downtown Phoenix. Welcome inside Chase Field. Steve Berthew, Bob Brenly, and Kate Longworth with you. The third of a 4-game set. D-backs and the New York Mets. And boy, the Mets are really scuffling. They've lost 12 of their last 13, 17 of their last 20. And here's the New York lineup tonight, presented by your Valley Chevy dealers.
Some changes for Mickey Callaway tonight. Ahmed Rosario will lead it off. He's been hitting down near the bottom of the order for the Mets, but swinging the bat well, so he puts him up in the leadoff spot today. As Drupal Cabrera will bat second and play second. Todd Frazier will bat third and play third. Wilmer Flores down at first base. Brandon Nimmo in right field. Devin Mesoraco will be behind the plate tonight, with Michael Conforto in center. Jose Bautista in left field, and left-hander Steven Matz on the mound.
D-backs have a left-hander out there as well. It's Patrick Corbin, and he is your Ram truck starter for the Diamondbacks. His 15th start this year. Patrick 6-2, a 3.21 ERA. That is 9th in the National League. He's 3rd in the league in strikeouts.
Yeah, coming off a no decision against the Pittsburgh Pirates when he was really good through the first 4 innings of the ball game. The wheels came off a little bit in the 5th. That was a 9-5 Diamondbacks victory over the Pirates. Archie Bradley got the win in that game.
E.D. Marshall Jewelers has a look around the diamond at the D-backs defense tonight.
Chris Owings patrolling center field once again tonight. David Peralta will be in left. John Jay in right field. Devin Marrero and Nick Ahmed on the left side of the infield. Ketel Marte and Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. John Ryan Murphy doing the catching for left-hander Patrick Corbin.
Mike Estabrook doing the calling the balls and the strikes. He's the plate umpire tonight. Jim Reynolds, the crew chief, is at first base. Bruce Dreckman is our second base umpire tonight, and Chad Fairchild is down there at third. And before we get going, Bob, time for your Valley Honda dealers key to the game.
Well, for Patrick Corbin, the key is almost always that slider, so we're hoping he slips sliding away from the barrel of the Mets bats.
Paul Simon for you, huh?
New York guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, sure, yeah. Well, if you hear some Met cheering, it's because of all the blue and orange out there in right field. 1,200 Mets fans who get together every year, and they pick a couple of out-of-town ballparks to go to. They are here tonight, and so there's going to be a lot of Met voices amongst the D-backs fans here at the ballpark. The 7-line army, we're told.
Yeah, the Let's Go Mets chant started about an hour ago, and it's going to be loud in here tonight.
Well, the D-backs trying to keep things rolling along. They've won 7 of their last 8. They are 11-3 in June, and holding a 2.5-game edge over the Dodgers for the NL West lead. Rosario, the shortstop, starts us off. 238 and 4 home runs. Rosario lifts this one along the right field line. John Jay will give it a look, but it's in the seats.
Yeah, Patrick Corbin faced these Mets earlier this year. Pitched pretty well with the exception of a lack of command. He walked a season high 4 in that ball game. When he left, it was a 4-2 score. It was a 5-4 Mets win.
There's another one out of play. Fastball from Patrick at 89.
You can see those Mets fans behind Patrick Corbin out there in the right field bleachers. An awful lot of blue.
There's a slider from Corbin, bounced up there in the dirt. Ahmed Rosario, a couple of hits in this series. He has singled and homered. 4 home runs this year, 3 of them coming against the D-backs. Good slider from Corbin. A good start for Patrick.
Now, we talked about it in the open. That's the key to most of Patrick Corbin's starts. His ability to command that slider, throw it in the dirt for swinging strikes, throw it on the outside corner for called strikes.
As Drupal Cabrera, 268. He leads New York in home runs and RBIs. He is in a horrific slump right now. 0 for 8 with 4 strikeouts in the series. Fastball just off the plate. It's 1-0.
Yeah, Cabrera, I mean, a little fashion switch up today. He had on those neon gloves last night, and the shoes had some neon yellow on them. All orange gloves today, and more conservative shoes.
More business-like approach, perhaps.
Sure.
Well, he needs something to change. Back on May 29th, he was hitting .315 for the year. Since then, he is 4 for 50 at the plate. That's 4 for 50. That's a big time hang in there. That's the way it's gone for most of these Mets hitters as they are going through a miserable month of June. Mickey Callaway, the rookie skipper, getting a lot of heat in the New York newspapers. He's become a back page target. 2-1 to Cabrera. That skips over the mound. Ketel Marte behind the bag.
Yeah, the Mets tried to back up to Port St. Lucie here at Chase Field today. They were doing some spring training base running drills before the ball game, before they took their regular round of batting practice. Nice play by Marte to get the second out of the inning.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've ever seen a big league team do that before a game.
I've seen it happen. Actually, I saw it happen once after a ball game at the Astrodome when Hal Lanier was managing the Astros. They had a particularly bad stretch of games, and we went in there as the Giants and beat them on getaway day, and as we were leaving the ballpark, they were out on the field working out.
But here's Todd Frazier. It was about 15 or so Mets players and a few coaches, and they stood around each base. They started at first. They stood around, talked for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Then they went to the second base. They stayed there for 15 minutes. Then they went to third. And it seemed to be the coaches saying, okay, gentlemen, this is second base.
Some of you have never been here before.
It was interesting to watch, that's for sure. 1-1 on Frazier. D-backs have the shift on. That's fouled out of play.
Well, the Mets have made a few base running mistakes in this series, although I wouldn't call Jose Bautista getting thrown out at the plate a mistake. The Mets aren't scoring any runs. Bautista tried to force the issue a little bit, got gunned out at home plate by Gerard Dyson the other night.
Yeah, that was last night with a pitcher coming up.
Yeah.
It would have been the next hitter. I was fine with that myself. There's the shift on.
Kevin Plawecki lost his footing down at first base and got picked off by Alex Avila last night. So, you know, in order to please the New York media, who I'm sure were here early watching to see what the Mets did pregame, they ran him around the bases and had a little instruction today.
Yeah, Ruben Amaro Jr., the first base coach. Glenn Sherlock, third base coach. Dave Island, pitching coach, were all out there. 1-2. Swings at the slider in the dirt. Murphy will clean it up. 2 strikeouts in the first for Patrick Corbin. D-backs coming up at Chase Field. against the left-hander Steven Matz, who was originally supposed to start Thursday's series opener here against the D-backs. But he was pushed back to tonight because of a blister on his left middle finger.
Yeah, he's sinker, curveball, changeup pitcher. Last outing, however, he threw a lot of cutter sliders, and they were saying perhaps that was the reason for the blister on his finger, throwing a pitch that he normally doesn't use as extensively as he did last time out.
Valley Chevy Dealers has the D-backs lineup tonight.
John Jay once again atop the order out in right field. Nick Ahmed will be at shortstop. Paul Goldschmidt at first base. John Ryan Murphy doing the catching tonight. David Peralta will be out in left field with Ketel Marte at second base. Chris Owings in center field. Devin Marrero at third, and Patrick Corbin on the mound.
John Jay, the red hot John Jay, leads us off. 3-11 and 2 home runs. And what a series he's had. 3 more hits last night. He tripled, scored twice. John Jay now with multiple hits in 4 straight games. Matz poking away at the corner there. It's 3-0. Ball 4. That didn't take long. Leadoff man's aboard. E.D. Marshall Jewelers has a look around the diamond at the Mets defense tonight.
Outfield from left to right will be Jose Bautista, Michael Conforto, and Brandon Nimmo over in right. Todd Frazier will be at third base with Ahmed Rosario and Asdrubal Cabrera making up the double play combo. Wilmer Flores will be at first base. Devin Mesoraco behind the plate today for lefty Steven Matz.
Nick Ahmed back in the 2-hole against the left-hander. Nick hitting .218. He's got 9 homers. Not a bad fastball, just a little low for Mike Estabrook, and it's 1-0. Nick has walked 3 times in the series. Steven Matz has yet to throw a strike.
Looks like a pickoff attempt to first base right here. It's kind of the universal sign that time. Devin Mesoraco just flipped out that thumb a couple of times. That's the indication he wants Matz to throw to first base.
Mesoraco back behind the plate. Kevin Plawecki, the backup, was back there last night.
Change up.
And Nick hits a high fly ball to center. Conforto's out there. John Jay at first, and that's enough. Here's Goldie. He has homered in both of the first 2 games of this series. Last night, 3 hits. He scored twice.
Now that home run last night should have counted for more than 1 run. An absolute blast to the opposite field.
265. Remember, 20 games ago, that batting average was 198. Goldie in 5 career at bats against Steven Matz has homered twice, including last month when we were at Citi Field in New York. Matz in that ball game gave up homers to Goldschmidt and Murphy is on deck.
Teams have run on Steven Matz this year. He's given up 14 stolen bases while he's been on the mound, only 2 caught stealing.
Good changeup right there. That's been a very effective pitch for him lately. He comes at you, Matz, with that hard sinker. You'll see it 60% of the time. He averages 94 miles an hour with that sinker. And after that, he'll mix in the changeup and curveball in equal amounts. But the changeup for him lately has been the money pitch. Goldie punches that out to short right. Here comes Nimmo, and he gets under it. 2 down for John Ryan Murphy. John Ryan batting .258 home runs, including his home run against Matz last month.
There's that sinker. Boy, he cannot get a low strike from Mike Estabrook tonight. Those are pretty good pitches for a guy that relies on his sinker 60% of the time. John Ryan punches that one foul, and it's 1-1.
Now there's something to be said for that. Pitchers pay very close attention to who's working behind the plate on days that they start. As you said, Steven Matz relies heavily on that sinking fastball down in the zone to get ground balls. And if you get an umpire behind the plate that's not going to give you that low strike, it could be a short night for Steven Matz.
Yeah, he's got to get that pitch. TJ McFarland of the D-backs will run into that problem occasionally.
Yeah.
You know how TJ works down there below the knees time after time. He said he's been out there once or twice with a guy like that. Oh boy, I don't get that. I got nothing. I'll keep an eye on John Jay at first. Fastball misses in. 2-1. D-backs saw Steven Matz at Citi Field last month. It was May 19th. He didn't pitch very well. 4 runs, 6 hits, only 4 innings, but managed to avoid a loss.
79 pitches in his 4 innings of work in that ball game.
D-backs were swept in that 3-game series last month in New York. Trying to return the favor in a 4-game set here at Chase Field. 2-2 on John Ryan Murphy. Base hit. There comes Peralta. Oh boy, is he hot, up to 284. Tied with Goldie for the team lead in home runs. 4 hits in the series, including a 2-homer game on Thursday. David now with a 7-game hitting streak. Check the batting average. 500 during the 7-game streak, including 4 homers. Jay at second, Murphy at first. There's the low strike. He brought it up just a tick and got the call that time. It's 1-1. David this year just about .230 versus left-handers. He's got 3 homers versus lefties. Slices this one out to left center. Jose Bautista. Steven Matz strands 2. No score after 1. The D-backs and the Mets.
Down low with a fastball. Throws a fastball just off the outside corner, gets a foul on a heater, and then throws a slider that catches a little too much strike zone for John Ryan Murphy's liking, because watch what John Ryan Murphy did after calling the slider. Put it right down here in the dirt. That's exactly what Patrick did. They get the swinging strike from Todd Frazier. Our nationwide vision, eye on the game.
We start the second inning, no score. D-backs and Mets. Patrick Corbin 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 first. Let's go down to Kate.
Well, guys, Tori said he could tell right away if things are going well from Patrick just by reading his body language. He said if Patrick goes out there and is landing all of his pitches and engaging the hitter, that's when his slider becomes virtually unhittable. And he said his demeanor is unmistakable. He kind of walks off the mound a little bit taller and has that swagger about him. So Tori told me he's looking for that swagger to shine through early today.
Just got the call off the corner from Mike Estabrook. Yeah, Bob, we've seen Patrick Corbin with, you noticed this, with sometimes the body language hasn't been all that great when things aren't going well. It's a noticeable difference, isn't it?
Very much is, and we haven't seen much of that from Patrick this year. He's been very confident, and rightfully so. His stuff has been very good. When that slider is working for him, that's when you see him get a little taller out there on the mound.
Wilmer Flores in at first base today.
Yeah, there were a couple games last year where Patrick wouldn't even look up. He was just looking at the dirt on the mound the entire ball game. He'd get the throw back from the catcher. His head would go right down to his shoes. We haven't seen much of that this year.
It was just about the middle of August where Patrick figured it out, and he was almost unhittable from that point on to the end of the year. And a tremendous start this year. 4-0 in his first 6 starts. Brandon Nimmo, the on-deck hitter, 2-2 on Flores. Broken bat, and that's a little dunk shot in there for a base hit. Flores just off the DL yesterday as a leadoff single. He'd been out with a back problem.
Yeah, Flores came into the game as part of a double switch in the ball game last night. Hit a double in the gap in the 9th inning.
Brandon Nimmo, the right fielder, 258, 9 homers. He homered in his first at bat Thursday night. That's still his only hit in the series. Marrero in a couple of steps at third on the grass. Dotted the corner with that fastball. It's 0-1. Nimmo, another key Met bat who has lost his swing in June. Defense is fairly straight away. Nimmo's hitting only about $180 this month. Came in with a fastball that time, and it's 0-2. We talked a lot about the slider so often, but time and time again, coaches will tell you with Patrick Corbin, it starts with fastball command.
I think that's true for just about every pitcher in the major leagues that relies on some kind of a breaking ball or a splitter or a changeup as their out pitch. You still have to spot that fastball and make hitters respect it.
And when he's doing that, it just makes that slider doubly effective. Both versions of it, the hard one and the slow one. 0-2 on Nimmo. Well, we saw Alex Avila earn his paycheck last night back there. I'm sure by the time we're done here, say the same about John Ryan.
It really doesn't matter which one of the 3 catchers is behind the plate. They've all done a bang-up job blocking balls in the dirt this year, which gives the pitchers confidence to execute the pitches that they need to. And for Patrick, a lot of times that's going to be a slider in the dirt. You have to have confidence that your catcher will block it.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Brandon Nimmo. I think with the level of trouble that Godley was in last night in those first 3 innings, that could have been a very different ball game had it not been for Alex Avila blocking balls in the dirt.
It could have been a game changer. I mean, a couple of those go to the backstop. The Mets are suddenly on the board, a team that's really been struggling offensively, and you give them a couple of runs with wild pitches, you never know what might happen.
Devin Mesoraco, the Mets catcher, on deck. 2-2 on Nimmo. Missed with a fastball, and it's full. That's through for a base hit. Flores stops at second.
Nimmo taking advantage of Goldie holding on Flores over there at first base. Just a little rollover ground ball that finds the hole, gets through into right field.
Looked like Patrick missed his spot with that pitch, so it's first and second. Nobody out for the catcher, Mesoraco. A .209 hitter. He's got 6 homers, 0 for 3 in the series. That was Thursday night. Flores at second and Nimmo at first. There's the slower breaking ball from Patrick. Corbin coming off a difficult outing and no decision against the Pirates on Monday here. Gave up 5 runs, 7 hits, went 5 out of 30. Left that game trailing 5-0, but the D-backs came back and beat Pittsburgh 9-5.
And we've well documented how the Mets have struggled. As you get a look at Patrick's line against the Pirates. And the Mets, since the 31st of May, with runners in scoring position, are hitting .082 as a team. 5 for 61.
Hard to score that way. Glenn Sherlock down there at third, not waving in a whole lot of guys lately. The 2 on, no outs here. There's the slider, and it's 2-2. Well, Patrick has had 2 strikes on every hitter in this inning. He's got a broken bat bloop and a rollover grounder for a couple of base hits. Got him. 3rd strikeout for Corbin, 1 down in the 2nd.
Boy, and that's a big one because you would get an out right here and the runners stay at first and second. Now a ground ball at one of your defenders. You get that double play, get your team back in the dugout.
Patrick has had trouble with Michael Conforto, the Mets center fielder. 212 and 8 homers. Conforto homered Thursday night, his only hit in the series. Michael Conforto gets into one, and it's gone. That's his 3rd career home run against Patrick Corbin, and the Mets take a 3-0 lead. 7 plate appearances versus Corbin, and Conforto has homered 3 times.
Boy, go figure. There is just no easy way to explain that. Sometimes a hitter just sees the ball extremely well out of a pitcher's hand. A high fastball that time. And Conforto with a line drive 3-run homer to right field.
Jose Bautista. He hits one to center. Chris Owings out there. CO! Got it! Another spectacular catch in center field by Chris Owings. We've seen it all year long.
Boy, and that is a tough play. A sinking line drive over toward the gap in left center. Chris Owings was off like a shot. Nice diving catch right there. Almost rolled over on that left wrist, but fortunately seems to be okay.
Steven Matz, the left-hand pitcher who bats right-handed.
Well, the Mets had runners at first and second, nobody out in the second and third inning last night and weren't able to score. Conforto cashes them in here tonight.
He's homered now twice in the series. Patrick behind on his opposite number, 2 balls and no strikes.
I do stand corrected. They did score 1 run in that third inning. Could have been a lot worse. 3 straight strikeouts by Zach Godley to get out of the inning after giving up 1 run.
David Peralta has it. Michael Conforto, his 9th homer of the year, has made it 3-0 New York. Trail it here. Tomorrow, live coverage of the FIFA World Cup continues at 7 a.m. as defending champion Germany battles Mexico in group play. Then it's Brazil and Switzerland at 11. Catch all the action on FS1 or stream it all live on the Fox Sports app. Boy, it was a tremendous day of play today. I watched some of the early matches. Messi had the penalty kick blocked by Iceland.
Iceland, yeah, one of my sleeper teams. Yeah.
Did you see any of Denmark and Peru?
I did not.
It was unbelievable. Denmark won 1-0. Peru had about 20 chances to score and just couldn't get the equalizer. Outstanding work. I thought you were our World Cup guy. I know you had some Father's Day, Grandfather Day type stuff to do.
Father's Day duty today since we have the early start tomorrow, so I missed all the action today. I'll catch it when I get home. I taped it all.
Oh, I just gave it away. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. You know, it doesn't really matter if you know the score.
Spoiler alert. Ketel Marte, little tapper. Matz is on it. Yeah, Messi has missed a whole bunch of penalty kicks for club and country lately.
Yeah, this is probably his last go-round in the World Cup. We've talked about it in the past. 31 years old this year. I don't know, at 35, 4 years from now, how much he'll have left.
Here's Chris Owings. Well, as you mentioned, Brazil is a team to watch, and the Germans are always good. The Germans. So that'll be a big match tomorrow morning. CO 189, 3 homers. 0 for 4 Thursday against the Mets. I like watch that Danish match. Eriksson, he's a big Tottenham Hotspur guy in midfield. He's unbelievable.
Did you say so?
I don't have to tell you that.
Well, I've actually changed my winner on my bracket.
Whoa.
Well, I had Brazil and Germany in the final. Initially, I went with Brazil, but then the more research I did, so I changed to Germany.
I'm not sure that's legal.
Sure it is, as long as you have a pen. See, I initially had Brazil, and then I crossed them out and put Germany as the winner.
Interesting.
And I reserve the right to change once again.
So I have a feeling by the time we get down to the final, you will pick the 2 finalists correctly.
And I'll wait until very, very late in the match before I pick the eventual winner.
Penalty time. Owings knocks it into left field. Second hit for the D-backs. Here comes Devin Marrero.
Boy, that would really help things a lot if Chris Owings could start to heat up with the bat a little bit. I mean, defensively, he has been amazing out there in center field, filling in for A.J. Pollock along with Gerard Dyson. But you'd like to see him get that bat going a little bit, get his speed on the bases.
Devin in there at 153. Playing time has been pretty erratic since Jake Lamb came off the DL. But Jake on the bench to start this one against the left-hander tonight. Change up away, missed. It's 1-0. Devin's only had 33 at bats since the beginning of May. Change up away and then a change up in, and it's 1-1. I know you didn't see the World Cup as we discussed. Did you see Lefty today at the Open?
I did see Lefty, yeah.
Ooh, not good.
Chasing it around that one green.
Yeah. Marrero lifts it out to left center field. Bautista. Yeah, a lot of golfers in the D-backs clubhouse. That was a hot topic this afternoon.
Well, and Lefty's a big Diamondbacks fan, so he's probably salving his soul tonight watching the D-backs play the Mets.
Salving, I like that.
Yeah.
Patrick Corbin now. Patrick, a .280 hitter this year. He's got 7 hits, a couple of RBIs. D-backs with a 2.5 game lead over the Dodgers atop the NL West at the start of play today. LA right now leads the Giants 3-1 at Dodger Stadium. They're in the 8th inning. Did you see the Rockies bullpen implode again today?
You told me about that as soon as I got to the ballpark today.
Yeah, they were up. Colorado at Texas had a 2-0 lead in the 7th, and they brought in those Rocky relievers, and they ended up losing 5-2. So that problem continues to get worse for Bud Black. All the money they invested in that bullpen.
As you mentioned, the Dodgers leading that ball game. Home runs from Matt Kemp and Kike Hernandez again.
Off Madison Bumgarner.
Yeah.
Well, looking to keep this inning going with Patrick Corbin. Patrick has been a hitter in this ballpark this year. He is 6 for 16 here at Chase Field. John Jay, the red hot John Jay.
would be next. Waves at that curveball. We'll head to the third. D-backs trail the Mets 3-0. Derek Hall when we come back. Third inning. We are participating in the home run challenge this month. Nearly $2 million has been raised for prostate cancer research. You can donate by visiting homerunchallenge.org. D-backs president and CEO Derek Hall is with us. Now, I've been handed one of these. Now, from what I understand, thanks to you, every fan that comes to the ballpark tomorrow on Father's Day gets one of these really nice baseball bat key change. What is this all about?
Well, it's really to drive awareness and educate men to go out there and get tested, get screened for prostate cancer. And we've been fortunate enough to hand these out at every home ballpark in the minor leagues for the last 3 seasons.
That's amazing.
So tomorrow, 69 home ballparks in the minor leagues will as well, along with a brochure about prostate cancer. And then there's a father chosen at each of those games. He is presented on-field pregame a Louisville Slugger bat with his name engraved, and again, all for the same reason, to really get every man to be aware of the facts behind it, because 1 in 6 men are going to be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. 250,000 are diagnosed each year, and unfortunately 30,000 succumb to the disease each year. I mean, it's very prominent.
That's something that you went through. Could you have gone through what you did without the help and support of organizations like the one you've begun?
Well, I was fortunate enough to have people around me where I could ask questions. Our owner, Ken Kendrick, had also been through prostate cancer. So for me, I could turn to him and ask a lot of questions. But most people don't have the resources. So it's very important to my wife, Amy, and I to form this foundation and at least allow people to go there as a resource to get all their questions answered, read my story, and be as transparent as possible.
Yeah, education is what it's all about. The more you know, the better your chances of surviving.
That's exactly right. In early detection, we know that if the disease is detected early enough, it can be treated. And there's so many different forms of treatment today. It's no longer just surgery. There's proton beams and seeds and radiation, and there's a lot to learn and a lot to read up on.
Well, as you know, we had Michael Milken in the booth yesterday and was talking about a lot of those things, all the progress that's been made, and you and Michael are to be commended.
Matt Rosario hits one deep into center field, and it's a Met double to start off the third.
Yeah, Michael's done great work, and this home run challenge has raised a lot of money for research. Very, very important, and I can't thank him enough. And for us to have had the major leagues covered for so many years, and now we're covering the minor leagues. So I can't thank Pat O'Connor enough. president and CEO of minor league baseball. He's been a friend for years, and he said, how can we help you? And he's been a tremendous partner of ours.
And when you said that's every minor league ballpark in the country, not just Arizona.
That's right. It was all, 69 home ballpark. Every home ballpark tomorrow will have distribution of brochures along with those keychains.
And Derek, as Michael was telling us yesterday, it all starts with a simple blood test, right?
Absolutely. That's the simple part. And I think most of us either don't know about it. I certainly didn't. It was by accident that mine was even taken, my PSA. I was going to see a cardiologist.
There's Owings in center field, backing up under the home run porch. He runs down another one out there. Rosario tags and heads for third. Yeah, now it's just basically you get a physical or whatever. It's almost standard procedure, isn't it?
Yeah, it's important to get that marker, Steve. I mean, if you go in and see your doctor, whether it is for your annual physical or any time you think it is time to get tested, they'll say wait till you're 50, wait till you're 40. Not so sure about that. If you have a family history, if you have any concern whatsoever, go in and get that marker so then you have something to compare it to year after year and keep a close eye on it.
And so the website is prostate.org.
That's exactly right. So we took prostate, turned it into a pro state of mind. It's pro-state.org, and it's just a very good resource and a way for men to get educated. But they really do need to go in and see their doctor. I didn't even know what a urologist was until this cardiologist said, uh-oh, your PSA is high, you better go in. And after the biopsy, it was time.
So you can donate to Derek and Amy's Prostate Foundation, dbacks.com/donate. Get involved. Here's Todd Frazier, the third baseman. We talked to D-backs president and CEO Derek Hall.
Not liking the way this game has started, I'll tell you that. Team's playing well, though.
Boy, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a tremendous turnaround, in fact, from that May malaise. Suddenly you look up, they're 11-3 in June.
Tore that month right off the calendar. Burned it.
I don't blame you.
Happy to be in June.
Well, right now you're 9 over 500, first place in the NL West.
Beautiful.
And did you see, by the way, now's as good a time as any to talk about Shelby Miller?
I didn't see. No, how did?
You're going to love this.
Okay,
I got some fantastic news for you. Shelby Miller, a rehab start for Visalia tonight.
Yep. 6
2/3, scoreless innings, 3 hits, no walks, 10 strikeouts.
Oh wow. What a bounce back, huh?
Fastball got up to 95.
You know, he had 3 or 4 really good starts, both here in Arizona and out at our affiliates. And then he stumbled a little bit, which you expect, and then he bounces right back. That's tremendous. No walks, 10 strikeouts. You know, I heard you guys talking about it too, but it's so true. When we get Pollock back, you get Souza back, it's like mid-season acquisitions with those guys.
All-star caliber players, not just an extra body here and there. It's remarkable.
And then Robbie Ray
and you don't give up anything to get him.
That's right. Very nice.
Fastball missed, and Corbin has runners in the corners now. 1 out for Wilmer Flores. Now you're just back from the owners meetings in New York, right? Anything you can tell us about that?
Well, I can tell you, as you guys mentioned it, I was up very late that Tuesday night watching the game. It was the only game left on at that time, which seems to be the case a lot. But you know, when you're back in New York and you're watching it at 2 in the morning, but it was worth it because it was a win. You know, these meetings, and we have them, we used to have them quarterly, now we have them 3 times a year. What jumps out, especially, you know, to Ken and I as we were coming back and discussing it, is the leadership is just so strong right now at the central office. The commissioner's doing a great job. All of his lieutenants are tremendous.
That one gets behind Murphy. Rosario's home, and it's 4-0 New York.
We tried to get them to change the rules where a wild pitch could not score a run.
Not like that.
They didn't change that, though.
It's a good try.
Yeah. But you know, it's very clear that everything they're doing these days is to improve the game. And we're not just talking about pace of play. I mean, we've already shaved 4 or 5 minutes off. You know, you got the mound visits, you got the clock. They're doing a lot there. But it's more so just enhancing the overall fan experience. And they're very progressive, whether it is with technology or international baseball. I mean, we're looking at, you know, having the Yankees and Red Sox play a game in London. First time we've ever gone there. We had a game in Puerto Rico. I love what we're doing internationally. I'm a little biased because I'm on that committee as well. But you're going to see a few more games in Mexico. We're likely going to have 1 or 2 exhibition games this spring in Mexico.
Wow.
With the proximity, it makes a lot of sense. We have so many fans down there, especially in Sonora, the state of Sonora, Hermosillo, really our sister city. Having a presence there, we sell tickets there. We have a lot of their fans coming up on weekends. It's been great.
Mike Butcher out to the mound to talk to Patrick Corbin, who's in some trouble here.
You talk about the pace of game initiatives, and it seems like everything that's been instituted has worked flawlessly. I mean, the first week everybody was a little curious about the mound visits and what have you, but it's part of the game now.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, the transition was seamless. It's been smooth. It really hasn't ruined the game. I think our guys are fine with it as well. And now you're starting to sample some other techniques down in the minor leagues where you're going back to that international style, and in an extra inning game, you're putting a runner on second base to start the inning. I think it's exciting. I liked it in the WBC. It changes strategy a little bit, but it does move the game along, and it makes it come to closure quicker.
There's always an uproar. It's funny when things like this are introduced. The mound visits, the nets behind the screen, the automatic intentional walk, and a weekend nobody even remembers that there was an outrage about it because it worked so well.
You know what? It's the beauty of our game, though, too. You know, we're held to a higher standard. You like the tradition. You don't want to change the rules. I mean, if you're the football and you can add, you know, going for two, or you add the three-point line or the shot clock in the NBA, it's not as big a deal.
Right.
But because of, you know, the preciousness of our sport and the history of our sport, that's why people hold it so close to heart.
Yeah, that's really well put. I couldn't agree more. Now, there's been a lot written lately on The Athletic. Jason Stark had a tremendous column the other day about possible expansion down the road once they solve Tampa Bay and Oakland's stadium situations. Is that realistic?
I do think so. You know, I think in looking at having 32 teams eventually, I think it's something that the commissioner has expressed interest in. And by the way, Commissioner Manfred has done a great job thus far.
Flores hits it to left field. Peralta near the bullpen, and he's got it. Frazier hustles back to the bag at second.
But there's been some talk of obviously a lot of interested communities out there like Portland. You know, we've had good baseball in the past in places like Montreal, you know, Mexico, some of these, whether it's Monterrey where they had the exhibition game between the Padres, not the regular season actually, between the Padres and the Dodgers. That series was a big success as well. Mexico City with their ballpark. Who knows? There's so many different possibilities. You've seen the other sports with a lot of success in communities like Charlotte, you know, anywhere in North Carolina, New Orleans. You talk about Las Vegas. There are a lot of communities that may make sense, and we'll see. But I don't think there's any rush right now to get to 32, but I could see that in the future.
Corbin at 50 pitches. Here's Brandon Nimmo, the right fielder. Well, we've had a lot of energy and enthusiasm on the last couple of homestands, Derek, inside the ballpark, and I think a big reason for that is the summer pass, which once again seems to have worked out so well.
Big success. You know, again, in a couple of days we sold our capacity. And it's a way of getting these fans into this ballpark. And you're exactly right, because you see those sections in the upper deck that are really much fuller, and it is a lot of energy. And they get in the habit of coming to the ballpark. They maybe want to upgrade into weekend or partial season ticket packages, and then next year they come back as season ticket holders. We had so many from last year that said we love coming to the ballpark. Now we need to come all the time again, and they became season ticket holders. So that's really what it's about: introducing this product and this game and this fan experience to future fans that hopefully will become D-back fans, and more importantly, Major League Baseball fans for life.
Patrick Corbin a strike away from getting out of this inning and stranding Frazier down there at second. 0-2 on Brandon Nimmo. Now that you're basically half a season removed, is there a way to quantify what the success of last year has meant for this year in terms of interest, enthusiasm, attendance, anything?
Yeah, it makes a big difference when you're looking at, first off, your season ticket renewal rate. It's always going to be much higher. Were you hoping to get around 80% of those coming back, and then you got to replace those that you lost with new season ticket holders, which is not too difficult anyways. But after a big season where you had the success we did, you go to the wild card game, you win that, immediately that renewal rate is much higher, and then you have a lot more tickets sold up for that.
Trying to keep it rolling here in June. D-backs president and CEO Derek Hall, prostate.org.
Thank you, guys, and happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there.
by sharing a photo or video with hashtag HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
D-backs and Mets. Diamondbacks are down 4-0 here in the home half of the third. John Jay will lead it off against lefty Steven Matz. Jay walked his first time up tonight. Michael Conforto, a 3-run homer in the second. Mets added another run in the top half of this inning. Ahmed Rosario doubled, came home on a wild pitch against Patrick Corbin. So it's 4-0 New York. 0-2 on Jay. Our thanks again to D-backs president and CEO Derek Hall.
Derek's on that committee, the international committee he was talking about, schedule Major League Baseball games in cities all around the world.
Matz has got it.
I think you ought to lobby hard for the Diamondbacks to play like a month over in Hawaii.
What month?
It doesn't matter. Just pick one.
January?
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
I think you may be onto something there. I think we can fast track this right to the top.
You think?
Nick Ahmed. I know your staff has been working on that for a while now. Haven't had a whole lot of luck.
Well, I sent the governor over there on a scouting mission, and a volcano broke out, for crying out loud.
What's that tell you?
Gov probably wasn't the right guy to send.
Yeah, the governor said he couldn't even tell. They were on the same island, and he said he wouldn't have known. It was the lava flow is, I guess, isolated in one spot, thank goodness. Nick behind now, 0-2 on Matz. D-back so far with only 2 hits, singles by Murphy in the first and Owings in the second. Make it 3. Ahmed's aboard for Goldie.
Well, as Goldie makes his way to the plate, I'm going to say that 23 runs have been scored combined in this series so far. 14 of them have come via the home run. Goldie.
Just a suggestion.
Just a suggestion.
Well, Goldie now in 6 career at bats against Matz, has homered twice. He has homered in each of the first 2 games of this series. This one is down the line and just foul.
Just got out in front of that changeup a little bit. Boy, I tell you, Matz has left some pitches up in the zone. Nick got a pitch up and out over the plate in a 2-strike count. Tomahawked it out there into center field for that 1-out base hit. Goldie got a pitch up in the zone, just couldn't keep it fair.
Now look at this. It's been exactly 20 games since Goldie's batting average for the year was at 198. That was May 22nd. And during the last 20 games, he's hit .407. And hit nearly twice as many home runs in the last 20 games as he did in the first 50. So the batting average over a 20-game span has come up by 67 points. That's hard to do. But as Daniel Descalso put it last night, it's just Goldie doing Goldie things. Hammering the ball lately. That's got that fastball by him. 1-2. Went down and somehow got a piece of that changeup.
I'll tell you, hitters love that emergency swing right there. It's not pretty, it's not effective, and just a foul ball. But Steven Matz now has to make one more pitch to Goldie, a chance to make a mistake, and Goldie do some damage here.
The longer you can extend the at bat, the more you improve your chances. Went back to the changeup.
All over the strike zone. A little bit of fading action away from Goldie that time.
Well, you can see why that pitch has been so effective for Steven Matz lately. Here's John Ryan Murphy, who singled his first time. Wow, that was a curveball that Matz really lost the handle on. He'll use that curveball and changeup in just about equal amounts. You mentioned, Bobby, threw more sliders and cutters in his last start. They think maybe that's what caused the blister. I don't think we've seen one yet so far tonight.
I don't recall seeing anything that looked like a slider or a cut fastball. We've seen the changeup. We've seen some curveballs, and we've seen a lot of sinkers. Well, you can see he really slows his motion down on that big curveball.
Does that make it easier to pick up?
Oh, absolutely. You look for anything you can find, any difference in a guy's delivery. Does he raise his hands higher on the fastball, lower on the breaking ball? Does he have a bigger leg kick when he's throwing a fastball than a breaking ball? And in Matz's case, he really slows his delivery down on the curve.
One ball and 2 strikes on John Ryan. Mets really need a healthy Steven Matz right now. He's been pitching well. He's only won once in his last 7 starts, but nearly all of that has been run support, with the Mets offense struggling so badly. His ERA since the beginning of May is about 2.5. That took a funny hop, but Frazier was ready for it. Nicely done at third. We'll head to the 4th. D-backs are down 4-0. Remember, fans, you can participate in our D-backs 50-50 charity raffle presented by the Arizona Lottery, right there from home, along with all of us at the ballpark. Your chance to win half the pot and help the kids in our community. Get your tickets online during every D-backs home game on Fox Sports Arizona at dbacks.com/50-50 raffle, and they'll give out the winning number on the post-game show. Big crowd here tonight, BB. That jackpot's already up over $23,000.
Wow.
So get in on that before the end of the game. Mesoraco, the catcher, leads off the Met 4th against Patrick Corbin. Now this is going to drop into center field for a base hit. 5th hit for the Mets, and the 3rd consecutive time they've had a hit to lead off the inning. Here's Conforto, who hit a 3-run homer off Patrick in the second.
And the Mets, like most teams that Patrick Corbin pitches against, very aggressive early in counts. They don't want to get to that 2-strike slider, so they attack the first fastball they see early in the count.
This was the second inning. Conforto now 7 career plate appearances against Patrick. He's homered off him 3 times.
And that was a first pitch fastball. Conforto not waiting around, got an elevated fastball and hit a line drive out of here. 102 miles an hour off the bat. Excuse me, 112 off the bat.
Yikes. Something about this matchup that really favors Conforto. Lefty on lefty doesn't seem to make much sense, but it's worked out for him. There's a chopper that Marrero cleans up, and they'll settle for the force on Mesoraco. Nice footwork there by Nick Ahmed.
Now that's one of those awkward plays that you get occasionally with the exaggerated shifts. Devin Marrero coming into the middle of the infield, tossing back to the shortstop, covering the bag that time, and Nick gets out of the way of the sliding Devin Mesoraco.
Jose Bautista hit one to center, on which Chris Owings made a terrific diving catch. So Bautista now 0 for 7 in the series. He's punched out 4 times. Still going at the age of 37. That looked like his old Rogers Center swing in his Blue Jay days. Trying to launch one. An all-star for 6 straight seasons in Toronto, when he averaged 38 home runs every year. Well, you mentioned this the other night. You forget how long he was just kind of a, he was just a guy, you know,
Just a guy, yeah.
kind of around the Orioles, and then they were the Devil Rays. He was with the Royals and the Pirates. Just a kind of a backup guy, and then didn't do a whole lot.
Nice utility player, played multiple positions.
He was actually in 2008 sent to Toronto for a player to be named later. I mean, they just gave him away. And in 10 seasons with the Blue Jays, he hit almost 300 home runs. One and two. Wouldn't check his swing. Corbin gets his 5th strikeout.
Guess what? Slider down and in.
Better check that scouting report.
82 of Patrick's 110 strikeouts coming into play tonight had come on that slider.
The pitcher, Steven Matz, a right-hand batter. You can see that left arm heavily protected. Right to Goldie. Bottom 4 coming up. D-backs trail at 4-zip. shop at Chase Field. Another big shirt on display tomorrow. Father's Day for his 15,000 dads. Get this D-backs Hawaiian shirt courtesy of Tyson Foods, and then stick around after the game. You can run the bases with Dad for PCH. Visit dbacks.com/dad. That's going to have a big crowd here tomorrow, BB.
Looking forward to that.
You know, my wife Cindy was walking around wearing her Archie Bradley t-shirt, and she said a bunch of people stopped and said, "That is the coolest shirt. Where can I get that?" You get it right here at the team store.
Yeah.
Barely made it out of the supermarket alive. Everybody wanted to know where to get that shirt. Well, you get it right here at the ballpark.
All kinds of cool stuff down in the Diamondbacks team shop. All kinds of hats. The affiliates, too. That's what I like, the minor league affiliate hats.
Debbie Castaldo came in here today wearing a black D-back hat with white logo on it that was raised. It was really cool. And where'd you get that? Duh, I got it at the team shop.
Like for formal events in black and white.
It was cool looking. It kind of had like an Oakland Raider vibe to it. Yes. The D-backs affiliates have some cool, like the Jackson Generals has that JG, and the Hillsboro Hops have some cool looking stuff. You can get it all right here at the ballpark. Matz gets a glove on it, recovers, and retires Peralta to start the fourth. Here's Ketel Marte.
One of my favorite minor league hats of all time, the Chattanooga Lookouts.
Oh, with the eyes?
With the eyeballs, yeah. Those are pretty cool.
Ketel grounded out his first time. Come a long way from those Phoenix Giants uniforms.
Thank goodness.
We never did show those that time we were talking about it. I think did those exist? They had to have existed when the Astros had their crazy uniforms.
I think because actually my first year playing here in Phoenix, we wore white pants with a blue and kind of orangish stripe down the side.
Okay. With
kind of a reddish orange top. It was very cool uni. Then they got creative.
It's one word for it.
So I think when the Astros were wearing their god-awful jerseys, we were wearing the old orange ones.
Those were cool. You didn't like those?
No. I like the Astros version of it, but the minor league version, they didn't use primary colors. They used browns and olive green and mustard yellow. Ooh. Not good. You're big on the brown, though. You like the Padres brown.
Well, I don't understand what they're doing, but that's just my opinion. There's a lot of fans that feel the same way. That's the Padres' identity, that brown and gold. Go back to Nate Colbert, Dave Winfield. Every time we go to Petco, we see a lot of it. But that's their business. I've really gotten used to our look. You know, it's like Oregon football. You get something different every day. Today we're in the Saturday black. Had the teal last night. Bounce to third, backhanded by Frazier.
Hey fans, the D-backs home run tonight means a free jumbo jack tomorrow at participating Jack in the Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
Our producer Brad the Big Dog Weimer at one point in his career worked for the Lansing Lugnuts.
The Lugnuts.
And their logo on the top of their cap was a lug nut with a face on it. A lot of interesting ones all over the country. Chris Owings now. We were speaking about minor leagues. You and I were kind of joking about this before the game. How'd you like to play for Modesto this weekend? You go into play Visalia, you face Robbie Ray, and then 2 days later Shelby Miller.
Ooh.
That's not, you don't get a lot of that in the Cal League.
Very exciting, but not very satisfying.
Shelby was outstanding tonight in his rehab start. 6 2/3 scoreless innings, pitching for Visalia. Gave up only 3 hits, did not walk a batter, and had 10 strikeouts. Fastball stat consistently 92, 93, got up as high as 95 as he comes back from Tommy John surgery. Fly ball, left field. Bautista just in front of the warning track has it. And Matz works a 1-2, 3/4. He holds a 4-0 lead. The Metro Phoenix offers summer day camp programs at all 13 locations to give youth and teens an adventurous, active, and healthy summer. These programs operate 5 days a week to enrich kids with academic success, healthy choices, and fun experiences. You'll find all the info you need at www.bgcmp.org as Ahmed Rosario grounds out to lead off the New York fifth.
That is the 6th one-pitch at bat in this game already for the Mets against Patrick Corbin. We talked about it in his last inning out on the mound. They don't want to get to that slider, so they're hacking at that first fastball they see.
Patrick has given up 5 hits so far. The big one was Conforto's 3-run homer in the second. Here's Cabrera, who is 0 for 2 and 0 for 10 in the series. Oh boy, that's just the way things have gone. That was a Brandon Webb swing right there from his dribble. This is Webby in his prime.
I'm not sure who that's more insulting to.
Neither am I. Well, that's what's going on with Cabrera right now. You remember at the end of Die Hard when Hans Gruber is falling backward down off the top of the tower and he's kind of reaching up at Bruce Willis? That's what's happening to Asdrubal Cabrera right now. He's stuck in a 4 for 52. And this guy's a really good hitter.
Yeah, has been throughout his career. He's been
absolutely.
a very dangerous hitter.
Just you know, we said this I don't know how many times in May. It just somehow it just gets contagious when the entire team has it. It's hard to get out of it.
Yeah, we saw it firsthand in that month of May. Mets going through it here in June.
Another strikeout. That's 6 for Corbin.
Hey fans, the day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com.
Todd Frazier has struck out and walked tonight. Now a final. Dodgers beat the Giants 3-1 in LA, so they pick up a half game on the D-backs, whose NL West lead for the moment sits at 2. Alex Wood the winner. Bumgarner the loser. Gave up a couple of home runs. Matt Kemp and Kike Hernandez in that game for LA. Colorado had a 2-0 lead in the 7th at Texas and lost it 5-2. Their bullpen blew up again. Didn't go, says Jim Reynolds. And the Padres were in Atlanta. They lost to the Braves 1-0. Pitchers duel at whatever that ballpark is named now. SunTrust, I think. Corbin 70 pitches, 44 for strikes. Earned is short. Shift is on. Ahmed has it. Nice quick 1-2-3 inning for Patrick, who's retired 5 in a row, but trails at 4-0.
Time to take a look at this day in baseball history, brought to you by Geico. A sad legacy moment. 4 years ago today, Tony Gwynn, one of the greatest of all time, lost his battle to cancer at the age of 54. Anybody who ever played against him or with him or for him or walked past him on the street, you were a better person for it. What a great guy.
Couldn't agree more. I got to work with Tony for several years, and it was an absolute pleasure. He was an unbelievable gentleman and a much better person than he was a ball player, which really says something.
That really says something, because looking at his numbers, if you ever get a chance, fans, go on Baseball Reference and type in Tony Gwynn and go to the splits. He hit everybody everywhere every month, righties, lefties, late and close, early in the ball game. Every number that you look at for Tony Gwynn was exceptional.
And we were in San Diego the night they had the memorial for Tony Gwynn at Petco Park, and I got to go to that. And Ted Leitner, who is going through his own battle right now with cancer, a tremendous broadcaster for the Padres for so many years, was the master of ceremonies, and it was incredibly moving. A lot of people at the ballpark for that night. And we want to wish Ted all the best too. We get to see Ted several times every year. We won't see him when we visit the Padres next time. He's out for a while, but all the best to the great Ted Leitner. Marrero strikes out to start off the 5th inning. That's 6 in a row, retired by Steven Matz.
And I think, partner, you'll agree, anybody that ever spent any time around Tony Gwynn, your lasting memory is that laugh. It was as honest a belly laugh as you could ever hear.
Patrick Corbin.
I know I've told the story about Tony Gwynn before, but to the best of my knowledge, he was the very first to use video extensively. And back in the day, it wasn't like you just grab a disc and take it with you. He had a foot locker full of equipment and tapes that he would watch opposing pitchers. And
Jose Bautista makes a nice sliding grab in left, 2 outs.
He was way ahead of his time as far as that goes.
Yeah, you really had to work at it back in those days with the technology to be able to do that. Now you got literally have 5, 6 iPads in the dugouts that are ready to go. A guy, relief pitcher, comes in, everybody runs to the iPad to check it out. Jay has walked and grounded out. John Jay, 10 hits and 6 RBIs in his last 4 games. What a acquisition he's been. But Matz is rolling along right now. He jumps ahead 0-2. Torey Lovullo was the other day talking about John Jay. Said the perfect leadoff guy for this ball club. Sees a lot of pitches. Left on left doesn't seem to matter to him a whole lot. Steven Matz is in the rocking chair right now. He's set down 8 in a row, holding a 4-0 lead. Father's Day, that's tomorrow. Give Dad the gift of baseball with MLB.tv. You can watch baseball live or on demand on his favorite supported devices. Save 50% now through tomorrow. Blackout and other restrictions apply, so visit MLB.tv for details. Patrick Corbin trails at 4-0, but he's done a nice job settling in. A 9-pitch 4th inning, an 8-pitch 5th. And now Wilmer Flores leads off the Mets 6th. Flores singled and scored in the second, came in Michael Conforto's 3-run homer. This is out to John Jay in right field. He's at the track and he's got it. 6 in a row set down by Patrick. You know, I got to give our guys that run the DBTV board here a whole bunch of credit, because yesterday in a World Cup themed Legends race, Gracie got a red card. Now in soccer, when you get a red card, that means you are disqualified from the next match, and so you can see how upset Gracie here is because he was not allowed to run today. So the guys who are sticklers for the rules over there, I give them major props.
and an attaboy for sticking to the rules. Gracie is over there raising a fuss still. Those are the rules, Gracie. I can't help you. You shouldn't have got the red card. Well, frankly, Gonzo took a dive. Gracie, yeah, he should have got the red card. But so Gracie was held out of today's race because of the red card yesterday. So our crew is on top of this stuff. You know, they read the bylaws and the fine print. That doesn't slide through the cracks.
That's too bad, because I saw Racing Gracie warming up out in the concourse earlier. He looked like he was ready to go today.
Still steaming. He dove. He took a dive, Gracie. What can you do? Jody's there to console him. And Kate. Brandon Nimmo. That's not a terrible idea. I think the red card for baseball, you get ejected, you go nuts, red card, you're out the next game. Ooh. Football, if there's an illegal hit, red card, you're out the next game. Food for thought. Base hit.
Yeah, Nimmo's approach against a left-handed pitcher a little bit different when he's facing a righty. Against a lefty, he doesn't even take a stride at all. Just kind of rocks his weight back on the back foot, keeps that right foot down on the ground, so he can be quick if the fastball happens to come inside like that one did.
Nimmo 2 for 3. Here's Mesoraco, who singled his last time up, the Met catcher. Nimmo takes off for second. Murphy's throw is offline. Nice pick by Ketel Marte. Boy, he's got those quick hands, and somehow he kept that one from getting into center field.
Pretty good jump over there. I think John Ryan Murphy just didn't have a good handle on that baseball. Pulled his throw short into the shortstop side of the bag, and a real nice play, as you said, by Ketel Marte to keep that one out of center field.
Patrick now at 80 pitches. Nimmo's at second, 1 out. 1-1 on Mesoraco. Didn't go, says Jim Reynolds. 2 balls and a strike. Conforto, who had the big home run in the second, is on deck. 3-1 to the Met catcher. Chris Owings on the run. Marte out there. It drops in between them. They wave Nimmo. Here's the throw. Got him.
Boy, there's the infielder and Chris Owings coming out. A barehanded pickup and throw right on the money to John Ryan Murphy. Outstanding throw.
What a play. Bob, I've heard you say that a number of times about how being an infielder has really helped CO as an outfielder.
No question about it. He gets the ball out of the glove quickly when he has to throw that way. And how many outfielders do you see make barehanded plays and then make a throw like that to home plate to cut down the run? Outstanding.
So it's a single for Mesoraco. Takes second on the throw. The hitter is Conforto. Runner at second and 2 outs.
Yeah, we saw an 8-2 put out in the ball game last night. Gerard Dyson to Alex Avila to cut down Jose Bautista at the plate.
No. Joey Bats is 37 years old. Brandon Nimmo is he can run.
Yeah, he can run.
He's a guy with 7 stolen bases, a young player with pretty good speed. This is with a slider. D-backs have been out hit 7-3. They trail it 4-0. Drops a slider in for a strike, and it's 2-2. Bautista would be next. That's foul in front of Ruben Amaro Jr. coaching at first. That's belted to right. It's off the wall. Mesoraco comes in with a 5th run. Conforto at it again. It's an RBI double. He's knocked in 4.
Yeah, just a middle of the plate slider that time, kind of hung up there for Michael Conforto. Fortunately, not enough elevation to get it over the wall out there in right field. Nearly knocked it down.
Mike Butcher out to the mound. Bullpen starts to get busy for the D-backs. Corbin trying to get out of this 6th. Bautista will be the hitter.
You're watching Conforto take his at-bats against Patrick Corbin. He has ownership right now of Patrick Corbin. I think back to Greg Maddux and Junior Spivey. When Junior Spivey first came up to the major leagues, he beat Greg Maddux like a drum. And at one point, Greg Maddux says, okay, put one right in the middle of his back. 3.7 instead of 37 on his back. Well, Greg Maddux, you know, he could hit a mosquito in the rear end with a fastball if he wanted to. He meant to hit Junior Spivey in the back just to send a message. Hey, I know you're wearing me out, but I'm not going to put up with it much longer. At some point, Patrick Corbin may want to think about loosening up Michael Conforto in that batter's box a little bit.
Bautista 0 for 2. The number 8 hitter in the Med lineup tonight. The pitcher Matt's on deck. Well, that's how that would go back in the day, and it was fairly routine, right?
Yeah, you know, I'll give you a couple of base hits, but man, you're real comfortable up there in that batter's box right now, and I can't fool you with anything. So I've got to keep you honest somehow. And a pitch in the middle of the back or up underneath the chin every now and then will keep you a little loose in that batter's box.
And with the pitcher on deck, first base open, Corbin falls behind, and they'll put Bautista on and work to Matz. Just the 2nd walk for Patrick tonight.
Well, we were talking about Bautista earlier and what an impactful player he was for a good 6 years. From 2010 to 2015, he was first in the majors in home runs with 277, 5th in RBIs, 2nd in walks, 3rd in slugging percentage behind only Miguel Cabrera and Mike Trout.
Now in his 15th big league season. It's funny, it's Bautista's from the Dominican Republic, but he was drafted out of Chipola College by the Pirates. That's where Patrick Corbin was. Salas warming up in the bullpen. 0-1 on the pitcher Matz. There's Robbie Ray, who had an outstanding, in some regard, performance for Visalia the other night. The fastball velocity was terrific. A couple of plays not made behind him defensively kind of skewed the pitching line a little bit, but everybody was very encouraged. Nance fouls that one off. Robbie will have a second minor league rehab start Tuesday at Reno, and they hope to get him up to about 65-70 pitches. We gave you Shelby Miller's outstanding line tonight at Visalia. Randall Delgado will make another rehab appearance for Reno on Monday. Orban gets the strikeout, gets out of the inning. Mets tack on another run. They lead at 5-0. This year, they do a tremendous job down there. Some of these early day games, boy, if it weren't for Dutch Brothers, might not make it.
You need a reservation.
Travel in style with the must-have, and this must-have is in all caps. Modeled by the lovely Bob Brenly here, our D-backs duffel bag. First 20,000 fans to our game Saturday, June 30th. D-backs and Giants. That's a 7 o'clock start. Take home this must-have D-backs duffel bag, courtesy of Gila River Hotels and Casinos. dbacks.com for tickets. Your analysis of the bag.
It's outstanding. Anybody that's ever had a youngster or an oldster, whoever played ball, you know, where's my glove? Where's my batting gloves? Where's my shoes? Well, after every game, you put it all right back in this duffel bag, and you know where everything is.
You know, and sometimes, you know, another team, another franchise, you have a giveaway item like this. It's not the best made thing ever. This is solid.
Very solid.
Yeah, that's going to hold up. Nick Ahmed leads off the bottom of the 6th against Steven Matz, who has so far worked 5 scoreless innings and given up only 3 hits, all singles.
Give away a little secret here. You know, occasionally on road trips, my staff accompanies me on the trip, and we go fishing on off days, or you know.
Yeah, we like to show the pictures and stuff. That's a fair ball down the line. It's in the corner. Ahmed digging for second. He'll head for third, and he's in there with a triple. Another D-backs triple.
Boy, it's been raining triples here at Chase Field throughout this homestand. Nick Ahmed gets another pitch up in the zone, out over the plate, and tomahawks this one to right field. You may remember back in the 3rd, he got a pitch up and out over the plate, hit it into center field. Standing triple for Nick to lead off the inning.
That is his second triple this year. The D-backs now have 7 triples in their last 8 games.
Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That is amazing.
We finally get to Matz here. He's at 80 pitches. Here's Goldie 0 for 2. He homered off Matz last month in New York. In fact, he's homered off him twice in his career. Boy, Matz didn't get that call on the high fastball from Mike Estabrook. Borderline pitch. It's 2-0. Watch the reaction from Steven Matz on the Ahmed triple. That's the first little opening in the door here. That's a good changeup right there. Right on the corner, 2-2.
Well, before that Nick Ahmed triple even stopped rolling down in the right field corner, there were bodies moving around in the Mets bullpen. Nobody throwing quite yet.
Broke his bat. Rosario, it's short. Ahmed is home. D-backs on the board. RBI for Goldie. Well, Matz, because of his long injury history, and he's had everything you can have as a pitcher, and has never gone especially deep into games. But he's pitched a beauty so far here tonight. 1 out, a run is in. Bases empty for John Ryan Murphy, who singled in the first. That blister that Matz developed after his last start that pushed him back to tonight. I'm just guessing, obviously, but it doesn't appear to have been a problem based on the way he's pitched. He did throw a light side session here at Chase Field the other day and had no issues. Right to Frazier at third. And the Mets thought he was good to go. That blister developed during the game against the Yankees last Saturday, so he's had a full week between starts. And then as Peralta steps in on Wednesday, he was just throwing a little bit, and the skin on the blister peeled off, so the trainers had to cut it off, clean it up, and they pushed him back a couple of days. And it seems to have worked out. Matz really wants to get it and throw it. Peralta trying to slow him down. Tapped to second for Asdrubal Cabrera. D-backs get a run. We'll head to the 7th. They trail New York 5-1. Big group. You might want to think about enjoying a game from a D-backs suite. Now's your chance to book for a great price. D-backs 20th anniversary suite sale is going on right now. You can book a suite in July for only
1998. But there's only a few days left. Call 602-462-4119 or log on to dbacks.com/suites and get your suite for under $2,000.
That's a great idea. A family reunion, or bring your employees out here to the ballpark and reward them for a job well done.
Yeah, we've been down in those suites, not during a game, of course, but it is sweet, if you pardon the pun.
Yes, it is.
They treat you like kings down there. Fernando Salas, the right-hander, on to start the 7th. Ahmed Rosario, the shortstop, leads it off. D-backs have been out hit 8-4. They're down 5-1. Rosario doubled and scored in the 3rd. Mets, even though they're struggling, trying to accelerate their timeline a bit. Rosario has been the shortstop of the future for a while now. He's here. He's only 22. Dominic Smith, their first baseman of the future. We've seen him in the series. He's only 23. Turned 23 yesterday, in fact, and homered on his birthday. So they've got some of their pieces in place. Youngsters up here in the big leagues. Mixed in with some veterans like Cabrera and Bautista. Todd Frazier. Along the line in right. John Jay has it.
You mentioned Dominic Smith homering on his birthday yesterday. He became the 14th different Met to do that. Hit a home run on his birthday. The last was Anthony Recker in 2013. And how about this? Mike Piazza homered 3 separate times on his birthday for the Mets.
Wow. Well, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
As Drubal will spin around now and bat from the left-hand side against the right-hander Salas. Shift is on. Cabrera is 0 for 11 in the series with 5 strikeouts. No, he didn't, says Chad Fairchild. That's a fair ball for Goldie at first. 2 down.
Hey, fans, receive 15% off at the Chase Field Team Shop when you use the card by Gila River Casino.
Todd Frazier now. Frazier has walked. He's 0 for 2. Had an RBI double last night. His only hit in the series. D-backs have 3 infielders on the third base side against Frazier. Salas fires a fastball in there at the knees. 0-1. The Todd father. Now, do we have to check with Ketel Marte? I don't think he has his nickname on his shoes like Frazier does.
It's only a matter of time.
Well, he is from New Jersey, Todd Frazier, so the Godfather reference kind of makes sense. Todd Helton used to be the Todd father in Colorado. Kind of an East Coast, West Coast thing, I think.
I like the way Frazier kind of, it almost looks like he's tipping his cap to the ladies, you know, when he gets in the batter's box there, he'll very Right there. Nice to see you. How you doing?
Tip of the cap, wag of the finger.
Yeah.
Sends this out to right center. That rolls to the pool. Frazier, who doubled in last night's ball game, has a 2-out double in the 7th.
Up and out over the plate, outer third, about belt high. Todd Frazier stays right on it. Diamondbacks were giving him quite a bit of room out there in right center, and he found the gap.
Wilmer Flores will return to the dugout, and we just mentioned Dominic Smith a moment ago. Here he is. He'll hit for Flores and take over at first now that the left-hander Corbin's out of the ball game. Dominic Smith led off the 4th inning last night against Zach Godley with his first home run this year, and as Bob just mentioned, did it on his 23rd birthday. Change up on the first pitch, 0-1. D-backs put the shift on against Smith. Mets had Adrian Gonzalez for the first 2 months of the year, the former Dodger. They let him go last Sunday. They brought Smith up from the minors, first-round draft pick. Frazier at second, 2 outs. Dominic Smith was the 11th overall pick in the 2013 draft out of high school in Gardena, California. And a big season last year in the Coast League, hit .330 at Las Vegas. Salas ahead 0-2. Into the shift. Marte. Salas strands that 2-out double. We stretch at Chase Field. D-backs down 4. By CenturyLink, the series and homestand finale tomorrow. Clay Buchholz saw the mound for the D-backs against right-hander Zach Wheeler. That's a 1:10 start. D-backs live pregame show at 12:30 on Fox Sports Arizona. Ketel Marte fouls off the first pitch from Steven Matz, who's back out there to start the 7th. There is action in the Met bullpen.
Well, you got to believe Steven Matz will be on a short rope here in this 7th inning. If the leadoff man gets on, you may see Mickey Callaway pull the plug quickly, and that would be very beneficial for the Diamondbacks offense, because that Mets bullpen has been a dumpster fire since May 26th. An ERA over 7. 8 save opportunities. They've only converted 3 of them. Opponent's OPS almost 1,000.
But if you had to pick a guy who's the best back there, it's probably Gesellman, who's up and throwing right now. 1-2 on Marte. Frazier's been busy at third. Yeah, they are without the back end of their bullpen, Ramos and Familia, although Familia is close to returning from the DL. Here's Chris Owings, who singled in the second. One of just 4 hits for the D-backs against Steven Matz. Dodgers won. They beat the Giants 3-1. Rockies lost to Texas 5-2. Padres 1-0 losers in Atlanta. I believe this is the last game still going on the Major League schedule tonight. Breaking balls in there for a strike, 0-1. Chris Owings checking with Mike Estabrook, who gave Matz the strike call on that breaking ball up. There's a tapper foul, and CO is down 0-2. A big highlight tonight turned in by Chris Owings in the 6th inning. Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning and plumbing cool play of the game.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be an RBI doink out there in the shallow right center field, but Chris Owings with a bare hand pick up and throw right on the money to John Ryan Murphy for the out at home.
Threw out Brandon Nimmo trying to score from second on that bloop hit by Mesoraco. Mesoraco came home on a Conforto RBI double. Conforto has knocked in 4 of the 5 Met runs tonight. The other scored on a wild pitch by Patrick Corbett in the 3rd. Conforto a homer and a double. He's homered twice in the series. Rosario at shortstop. Steven Matz, 100 pitches, 64 strikes. He has walked only 1. He's got 3 strikeouts. A lot of ground ball outs for him tonight with that sinker.
And he's been ahead in a lot of counts. 6-0-2 counts, 6-1-2 counts in the ball game tonight.
Here's Devin Marrero. Nimmo in right field near the line. That drops in for a base hit. And here comes Daniel Descalso. He will hit for Salas. One of the hottest hitters of the D-backs lineup, and the night off tonight against the lefty Matz. This was Descalso. He homered here last night. 3 hits, 3 RBIs in the series.
Well, play of the game in a lot of respects last night. The Daniel Descalso home run and the great catch by the young lady out there in the right field bleachers.
Well, Daniel comes in hitting .280 with 8 home runs. He leads the D-backs in RBIs this year. And he's riding a 5-game hitting streak. Trying to start a 2-out rally in the 7th. Torey Lovullo was speaking today, talking about filling out his all-star ballot, as managers have to do. Descalso's on it. Smith knocks it down, and Daniels aboard. D-backs have something going in the 7th. 2 on and 2 out.
That should be an infield hit for Daniel Descalso. You can see Dominic Smith shuffling off the bag at first and then has to dive back to his left. He lost his footing just a little bit, and that's all the opening Daniel Descalso needed to leg that out for an infield knock.
Nicky Callaway out to the mound. John Jay will be the hitter. He, of course, is a left-hand batter. You got the lefty out there. Gesellman warming up in the bullpen. And he'll make the move right here. We'll take a break. D-backs have 2 on in the 7th. They trail at 5-1.
And the Diamondbacks score 5 runs or more. Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Right-hander Robert Gsellman will face John Jay. 2 on and 2 out in the 7th inning. Gsellman has had a good year in the Met bullpen. 30 appearances, an ERA under 3. He rode the card in, which we don't see a lot of. Taking advantage of the D-backs bullpen card.
Matzet really must have reached the end of his rope there to take him out with a left-handed hitter at the plate. I'm not sure if he was on a specific pitch count today or he just didn't say the right things to Mickey Callaway to stay in the ball game. But either way, we've got a right-hander facing the left-handed hitting John Jay.
Jay 0 for 2 with a walk. A 3-hit night last night for John Jay. 5 hits in the series. He's got Marrero at second, Descalso at first, and 2 outs. Boy, with the way Jay likes to go to left center, you can throw him fastballs away. That's fine with me.
Boy, and they're giving him a lot of room in the gap in left center. Conforto in center, shaded several steps over into the gap in right center. A lot of room in left center.
Fastball is up, and it's 1-1. John Jay, 10 hits, 6 RBIs in his last 4 games. There's a look at the Met defense. All that room in left center field. That's where Jay likes to go far more often than not. Mesoraco asks for time. Mike Estabrook making sure that nobody gets upset.
Yeah, Bruce Streckman, the second base umpire, was about to call a balk on Gsellman, but timeout had been called at home plate.
1-1. Another fastball away. John Jay 5 for his last 10 with runners in scoring position. In those 10 at bats, he's got 8 RBIs.
Watch out, Tony Perez-Chica.
Boy, nothing but fastballs from Gsellman so far. There's TP coaching at third. play, Chad Fairchild. Jay is back to even 2-2.
I was known to guess from time to time when I was at the plate. If I was John Jay right now, I'd look for another fastball out over the plate. Selman probably doesn't want to go to a full count with 2 runners on and 2 outs.
98 up, fought it off.
I've called this 2-2 pitch with 2 outs and runners on base the pitch of action. You want something to happen right here if you're the Mets. You don't want it to go to a full count and have those runners in motion and possibly a base hit scored 2.
And you've got Ahmed, who has singled and tripled tonight, on deck. Throw it behind him.
There's a pitch of action.
He got hit again. And now the bases are loaded for Nick. Tying runs at the plate in the 7th.
How about this, partner? John Jay's last 15 plate appearances with runners in scoring position, he's been hit 4 times.
Whatever it takes. So here we go with Ahmed. He singled in the 3rd, tripled and scored the D-backs only run in the 6th. Morero's at 3rd, Descalso at 2nd. After hitting for Salas, Jay's at 1st. Fastball is low at 97. Nick has walked 3 times in the series. He's had some really good at-bats this month. And you know who's on deck, 44. Got a fastball in. Chance to make it a ball game with 1 swing right here. Up the middle, Cabrera, Rosario, and they get the force at 2nd on John Jay. That one almost snuck through. Will hit the 8th. It's still 5-1 New York.
Fastball. The first one missed down low. He fouled off the second one, hit the third one hard back up the middle, but Cabrera playing right there. They get the force at second base. Our nationwide vision eye on the game. Frustration on the part of Nick Ahmed.
And almost made it through. You would have had a run in and Goldie coming up. Instead, it's still a 4-run New York lead as we start the 8th inning. New pitcher for the D-backs, the left-hander T.J. McFarland. T.J. has been outstanding again this year, a 2.32 ERA. Daniel Descalso, who hit for the pitcher Salas, remains in the game, takes over at third for Devin Marrero. He'll bat 9th, pitcher spot now 8th in the D-backs order as Brandon Nimmo leads off the Met 8th inning. Nimmo has singled twice and scored a run. We talked about this earlier. TJ is going to work down there all night long. Got the low strike from Estabrook. It's 0-2. Nimmo, Mesoraco, Conforto. 5, 6, and 7 in the Met 8th. Got the slider that time, just got a piece of it. D-backs 9 over 500. Dodgers beat the Giants 3-1 today. So Torey Lovullo's ball club for the moment 2 ahead of LA for the NL West League. Rockies lost, Padres lost tonight. That's right in there. Put it right on the corner, and he rings up Brandon Nimmo.
Now this is a typical T.J. McFarland at bat. We're going to look at the pitch by pitch. Pounds that fastball in there at the bottom of the zone for strike one. Misses just below the zone. A slider right there just to change the velocity, and then Nimmo just frozen on a 91-mile-an-hour heater right on the corner. Our nationwide vision eye on the game.
The catcher Devin Mesoraco. He has singled in his last 2 at bats. One and one.
It's kind of like when a fan runs on the field, you know it's happening, but we never show it. Well, some clown with a Yankees jersey is out there in the middle of all the Mets fans.
It might be Bald Vinny out there in the bleachers. Ahmed backhands it, long throw. He got him. You won't see too many better than Nick Ahmed at shortstop.
He starts from a straightaway position, several steps over into the gap, the backhand scoop and throw in plenty of time to get Mesoraco over there at first base.
Look, and the throw is perfect too.
Got him by 2 steps.
2 down for Conforto, who's done most of the damage tonight. A 3-run homer in the 2nd and an RBI double in the 6th. He's knocked in 4 of their 5 runs. D-backs have the shift on. Fastball is low, 1-0. Think about Conforto tonight. He came into the ball game 4 for 40 in June.
I'll tell you, somebody's hitting the ball in the Diamondbacks organization tonight. The Hillsboro Hops put up a 12 spot in the 1st inning.
Wow.
Everybody in the lineup scored at least 1 run in the 1st.
Pretty good night.
Ooh.
What's the score now?
Well, I'll have my staff look that up.
Get on that.
Ketel Marte, TJ McFarland doing what he does. When we come back, Goldie leads off the game.
D-backs Live, presented by CenturyLink, our post-game show. Well, a solid inning there from TJ McFarland to keep things where they are, but it was the Mets tonight playing the downhill baseball from the second inning on, Gracie.
Yeah, one really bad pitch by Patrick Corbin, a fastball right down the middle, and his nemesis, Michael Conforto, a big 3-run homer, and the Mets have not looked back since.
No question, but there's still time for that offense to come alive. And by the way, in the post-game show, we're going to take a look at the injustice in the Legends race, I think, too. Fantastic Legends race. We always love it, but Gracie, that red card, that really hurt.
Thank you for having my back, Joe.
All right, guys, I still say Gonzo took a dive. Here's Goldie. Fly ball, right field corner. Nimmo giving chase. And that one is foul.
Boundary call. I think we're going to have to take a look at this one.
Here comes Torrey. You can ask. Usually they will do it without having to use a challenge to make sure the call is correct. And they're going to put the headsets on. Always good to get some help. This may be an official review, not necessarily a D-backs challenge. We'll let you know as soon as they tell us.
Unfortunately, I do believe it ended up in foul territory.
You can see the ball sort of disappear behind the pole just for an instant.
Oh, by the way, the Hillsborough Hops, after scoring 12 in the first, hold a 12-5 lead in the fifth.
Your staff really got on that. I'm impressed. Well, speaking of minor league baseball, we'll give you those Shelby Miller numbers again while we wait. Shelby made a start for Visalia, his fourth coming off Tommy John surgery, and he could not have been better. 6 2/3 scoreless innings for Shelby Miller tonight. He gave up only 3 hits, 10 strikeouts, no walks. Fastball got up to 95.
And no hits allowed by the Rawhide after Shelby came out of that ball game, an 8-0 win.
That's a foul ball. So that is indeed an official review. 1-2 count on Goldie. Struck him out.
Everything Gesellman throws is hard. A little hard cut slider that time, just off the outside corner for strike 3.
John Ryan Murphy 1 for 3, a single in the first. D-backs have been out hit 9-6. They trail at 5-1 in the 8th. Through Todd Frazier and into left. Murphy aboard with a 1 out in the 8th inning.
Right through the wickets. Step to his left, just didn't get the glove in the right spot. Gets through the legs into left field for an E5. Make it hurt.
A chance for Peralta, who's 0 for 3. David with a 7-game hit streak on the line. Fastball missed down and away. Peralta 4 home runs during his 7-game streak. Had a 2-homer game here on Thursday in the series opener. Wouldn't lay off the high fastball. Tried to check. Went around. It's 1-1. Gesellman mixing in the changeup there. High fastball.
I think anybody that's a high velocity fastball pitcher like Gesellman, you really have to concentrate on laying off that high one. It's not going to drop down as much as somebody that throws in the low 90s or high 80s. That 96, 97 is going to hold its line and stay up there above the top of the zone.
Ketel Marte 0 for 3. Marte gets into one. Nimmo is there. 9th inning at Chase Field. D-backs still down 5-1. Independence Day with us here at Chase Field. July 4, D-backs Cardinals. We start at 7 o'clock. Roof will open up postgame for the best fireworks spectacular in town. It's presented by Gila River Hotels and Casinos. Get your tickets at dbacks.com. It's not a fireworks show. It's a fireworks spectacular. Spectravaganza. For young and old. Jose Bautista leads off the ninth against TJ McFarland. Last time we played the Cardinals, there were fireworks.
Yes, there were.
Torrey ended up watching the rest of the game from the clubhouse. That was in St. Louis, our first road trip of the year.
About 36 degrees.
Oh. Coldest home game in the history of the St. Louis Cardinals, and you and I drew the short straw. Governor was in there with the windows closed. We were out there in the elements. It was like doing a game from a duck blind. Now we're here and it's 110. Not today. Today was nice.
Yeah, today was beautiful.
Yeah.
Cloud cover, some rain. Temperatures in the low 80s.
Well, there's a leadoff walk from TJ. It worked to 1-2-3/8. And Reyes will come up and hit for Gazelman. The veteran Jose Reyes, he had a pinch hit double and scored a run last night. That was in the ninth inning. 160 on the year.
We talked about Reyes in his pinch hit appearance in the ball game last night, how he steps in the bucket down that third baseline. If TJ McFarland can throw that sinker on the outer third with some movement, should get the ground ball he's looking for.
Sounds like a World Cup match now.
Diamondbacks throwing over to first base several times like they think something might be up here. Historically, 2-1 has always been a good hit and run count, but very few teams hit and run anymore. Another one. Occasionally you'll see this happen when the team is trying to get a reliever up quickly and get him in the ball game. You can buy a few extra warm-up pitches by picking off at first base several times.
That's not the case here.
No.
TJ, you're trying to get the 8th and 9th out of TJ, but he's behind on Reyes now 3-1 after walking Bautista. And you've got the leadoff man Rosario due up next. Full count, 3-2. Bautista holds. Reyes lifts it in the air to right field for John Jay. Well, this was a night for good pitching performances all over the major leagues. Blue Jays beat Max Scherzer at the Rogers Center 2-0. Scherzer had 10 strikeouts in 6 innings but lost. Just his 3rd loss all year. Sean Newcomb outpitched Jordan Lyles. Braves beat the Padres 1-0. Here's Ahmed Rosario.
Seattle's Wade LeBlanc went 7 2/3, gave up 2 hits and shutting out the Boston Red Sox tonight. Stephen Wright for the Red Sox went 7 innings, gave up only 1 run.
Yeah, LeBlanc had 9 strikeouts in that game. Anthony Swarzak. We saw him pitch in the 8th inning last night. And Steven Matz was terrific here tonight for the Mets. Got to give him credit. Dodgers beat Madison Bumgarner in LA 3-1. Home runs by Kemp and Kike Hernandez. Changeups in there for a strike. Popped him up. Marte and Goldie. Here's Asdrubal Cabrera. Cabrera 0 for 4 tonight, 0 for 12 in the series. Boy, May 29th, Asdrubal Cabrera was batting .315. Right now he's at .264. D-backs in the bottom of the 9th inning. We'll have Chris Owings, the pitcher spot, and Daniel Descalso due up 7-8-9. Swarzak warming up in the Met bullpen. They've already hit for Gazelman. Cabrera won't chase either of those sliders, and it's 2-0. Went after the fastball instead.
Well, that's how you can really tell if a major league hitter is messed up at the plate. You get a count in your favor, 2-0, and you chase a fastball that's about 6 inches below the strike zone, very nearly in the dirt. That's when you really should narrow your strike zone. 1 pitch, 1 zone.
Just goes to show you can be around for as long as Cabrera's been around and still get in one of those funks.
That's how hard it is to hit. I was thinking about that earlier with Devin Marrero. You mentioned sporadic playing time. He's had a little bit of trouble getting it going with the bat, but defensively, you'd think he's been in the lineup every day.
He is sensational.
But it just speaks to how tough it is to hit major league pitching.
TJ behind 3 balls and a strike.
Twice he's had good hitters counts, and twice he's chased fastballs down below the bottom of the strike zone.
Well, you don't want to give Frazier a chance. He doubled his last time up. Goldie will play behind the runner. Bautista at first. 2 outs, 3-2. One has Drupal Cabrera. There goes Bautista. That's foul in front of Glenn Sherlock at third.
No batting gloves this time for Asdrubal Cabrera. You may remember he had the neon ones on yesterday, had the orange ones on earlier in the ball game. No gloves at all this time.
Got different shoes, gloves, no gloves, trying everything. Bautista takes off, and Cabrera dunks one into left field. His first hit in the series. Well, I guarantee you he's not wearing batting gloves tomorrow.
You can book it.
Mike Butcher booking it out to the mound. 2 on and 2 out for Todd Frazier. Gracie and Jody standing by. D-backs live postgame show follows our ball game. The series finale coming up tomorrow afternoon on Father's Day. Clay Buchholz goes for the D-backs. Zach Wheeler for the Mets. D-backs live pregame show tomorrow at 12:30. Don't forget Father's Day Hawaiian shirt tomorrow. dbacks.com/tickets. Still have a chance to get an opportunity to come down here, get your shirt. Because after tomorrow, we're not here again until the 29th. We got a long 3-city road trip coming up after tomorrow's game. We're 2 games in LA against the Angels. Got a travel day on Wednesday, then 4 at Pittsburgh and 4 at Miami.
Back-to-back 4-game series. That's a rarity.
Sure is. So come on down tomorrow and see the D-backs before we hit the road for a while. Frazier has walked and doubled tonight, 1 for 3. Three defenders on the left side of the infield against Frazier. All kinds of room in right center. Frazier only 2 years removed from a 40 homer 98 RBI year in Chicago. He can still swing it. 2 balls and a strike. TJ's really misfiring low. He's fallen behind 3-1. Dominic Smith on deck. Mets with 5 runs on 10 hits, their most runs and hits since May 29th at Atlanta when they had 6 and 10. Second walk in the inning for TJ, and he's loaded him up with 2 outs for Dom Smith.
With a left-handed hitter on deck and a dangerous right-handed hitter at the plate, I just don't think TJ was too willing to give in to Todd Frazier in that at bat, especially behind in the count 3-1. Try to get him to chase something around the edges, and Frazier did not do it.
So they'll work to Smith, who homered here last night, grounded out in his only at bat. That was to end the 7th inning against Fernando Salas. Bautista's at third, Cabrera at second, and Frazier at first. That's tapped over the mound. Ahmed charges, and TJ leaves him loaded. Bottom 9 on the way. D-backs down 5-1. The Mets. We saw Swarzak work 1 inning in the ball game last night. That was the 8th. Gave up a triple to Jay and an RBI single to Goldie. His 7th appearance of the year. Chris Owings will lead it off for the D-backs. And we'll see Jake Lamb hit for TJ McFarland and then Daniel Descalso. So Owings, Lamb, Descalso in the Diamondback ninth.
The D-backs this season have scored 1 run or fewer 14 times. They did that only 18 times the entire season last year. Now, most of those came in the month of May.
I was going to say, how many of that is in May? Yeah.
It hasn't happened in the month of June yet, so D-backs have some work to do here, sitting on 1 right now.
June has been a lot kinder to the Diamondbacks. 11-3 this month. Winners of 7 of their last 8, but down 4 in the 9th. CO gets us started against Swarzak. Looks at a fastball, and it's 0-1. Swarzak missed almost all of this season with a left oblique strain. He was on the DL from April 2nd all the way up until June 4th, so he's only been back about 2 weeks. Signed a 2-year contract with the Mets in December. CO singled in the 2nd. Tonight he's 1 for 3. D-backs with only 6 hits so far.
Strikes out on a slider, one away.
And that Swarzak slider is a good one. Breaks straight down. Some sliders have a lot of lateral movement. Some are more up and down. Swarzak's goes straight down.
Jake Lamb off the bench batting for TJ McFarland. 210 and 5 homers. He homered here Thursday in the series opener. Mets have 3 infielders on the right side. Nimmo almost standing in the warning track in right field. Bounced a slider there, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Descalso will be next. Then it's the top of the order. Jay keeps fighting off these high fastballs. That's in the Met dugout. Glenn Sherlock. It's always good to see Sherrills.
Boy, he's one of the best. We were very fortunate to have him here as long as we did. He survived a lot of managerial changes.
Fastball inside, showed up as a strike. 2 down in the 9th. Well, it's up to Descalso. He singled his first time up as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning, stayed in the game, took over at 3rd. So he's now got a 6-game hit streak. Well, the Mets only 11 and 29 since May 1st. Trying to close out a rare win for them. They have lost 12 of their last 13 and 17 of their last 20. And they're a strike away. Fastball's right there. Descalso can't believe it. He's all over Mike Estabrook. But Swarzak strikes out the side in the ninth, and the D-backs drop this one 5-1.
Yeah, D-backs just couldn't get anything going offensively tonight against Steven Matz. He was pretty darn good tonight, and Gesellman and Swarzak did their job coming in out of that Mets bullpen.
Still a chance to take 3 of 4 in the series with Clay Buchholz on the mound tomorrow afternoon on Father's Day against Zach Wheeler. Gracie standing by with Jody. Jody.
Yeah, of course, one of those nights we haven't seen in a while. The D-backs with just 6 hits and the 1 run, and you know they had some chances, Gracie, but might have been one of those nights where you do, as the guys mentioned, just look at Mets pitching and say it was pretty good.
Yeah, Steven Matz has been a terrific pitcher as long as he's been healthy in the major leagues, and he showed the Diamondbacks tonight that he's back and he's healthy and he's good again.
All right, plenty to look at here as we wind our way toward the post-game show. D-backs Live presented by CenturyLink coming your way in moments. We'll take a closer look at Patrick Corbin's outing tonight, and particularly one guy who's been a thorn in the side, Michael Conforto. And we'll look at, you saw that play by Owings, some great defense tonight despite the loss. 5-1, the Mets take it. D-backs can still win the series with a victory here tomorrow. But coming up next, it's D-backs Live presented by CenturyLink, our post-game show.